Somebody said that they wanted to get just a little bit closer look at some of the things that we had in the high tunnel. So I'll just start right here with a lot of the things that we're propagating. We're trying to propagate as many things. So you can see here some bay cuttings. Basically bought a bay tree a few years ago, and we just been taking cuttings, potting them. They actually take a little while to catch. So if you put a bay cutting, as long as it looks like, I'm going to show you, as long as it looks like this, just leave it. If you take one of these cuttings, put a little rooting hormone, stick them in the ground, only take it out if it looks like this, if it dies. Other than that, it's going to take a while. I've been had this little bay cutting for probably about a year and a half. They stay really small for a little while, but then once they start growing, then they'll really take off. And you got to take care of them a little bit more than we actually do. So another one there. Really excited about what I'm seeing here. This is a giant loquat from Spain. Oops, one of my cups don't have a hole in the bottom of it. Oh, that's not good. So I forgot to actually put a hole in that one. I'm gonna lay it on this side, let that drain out. But here's a couple of mangoes that we got from seed. Looks like another one of those cuttings here we're gonna have to add some soil to. And looks like another one right here as well. Giant loquats. I actually couldn't find the seeds. I actually went to an Asian store. That's how I got the seeds. Bought the actual fruit and planted it just like any other loquat or Japanese plum. This is what I'm actually waiting on. Trying to see if I'm gonna have to do the labor of getting in there. You can see how thick the trunks on these papaya are getting. But I'm trying to see if I can get in there. Hope I don't have to get in there and start digging those up. But more than likely I will. Looks like I got a little fruit coming up there. Let me see how I can get to it. Looks like right up there in the center. Little fruit, maybe starting to form. So maybe getting ready to fruit. Might be able to keep that one. The ones that's toward the back, they're just a little bit, they're gonna get a little bit too tall, and I can show you. You can see how they're already touching. So maybe try to transplant those and put them in the ground. Hopefully they make it. Usually when I transplant those papaya, they usually don't really make it. Dragon fruit, I've been looking at a couple of dragon fruit channels. The beautiful thing about what I want to try to teach YouTube is pay attention to the different channels that actually follow what you're doing. And what I mean by, if you're trying to grow dragon fruit, my channel probably isn't the best channel because I don't just grow dragon fruit. But you want to go to dragon fruit specific channels, like just take those deep dives. So that's what my growing has allowed me to take these deep dives on dragon fruit channels, grafting dragon fruit channels. And then I'm growing, you see the banana right behind it. So I'm looking at countless banana channels. That's how I'm learning how to grow diversity, grow such a diverse crop, because I'm diving deep into these channels that we have that's available to us. Everything you see right here, I kind of learned it from a dragon fruit channel. I did my own thing. I didn't do it exactly the way he has it, but there is a guy, I don't remember the name of the channel, but you can put in like grafting dragon fruit and he'll probably come up. It's a guy, I think he's out of California, kind of like I think he's Asian, but I'm sure everybody that grows dragon fruit should know who this guy is. I mean, and he's on other people's channels, but I'm at this stage right here where I'm supposed to thin some of these out, because from what he says, the way he does it is he only leaves 3 of those sticking out, and then they'll fall over. So I got a lot of those that I can trim off and actually use those cuttings. So you can see that I've been learning. When you look at what I have here, you'll say to yourself, he's been learning. And it's the same way. So let me pass. I don't want to show y'all, but I mean, I don't want to not show y'all. The summer got to these. You remember how lush these were? These are some that we got left over, just had so many, had to just leave some for seed. But these are perennial in the right environment. And look right here. You remember this? Just remember this, how this looks. And watch in a few weeks or to a month or 2 months time, once the fall comes, they're gonna put back on leaves and everything, and it's gonna look just as lush once again. So sometimes it's not good to take everything out. This bed here is dedicated to Miss C. She's from Hawaii. She actually sent us a few different varieties of papaya. Now, the cool thing about these papaya is, you know, most tropical fruit, you can't let the seeds dry too long. But I guarantee you, we had these seeds for about 3 years in a bag from Miss C. We planted the sweet potatoes and stuff she sent us. We got those going. But these, we just didn't have the right spot for them. Until this year, we finally planted them. We didn't plant them in here. We actually planted them outside. I was like, man, those papaya seeds are too old. We just planted them, right? They started to come up. Then it got to a point where I'm like, well, the fall is going to come and the winter's going to kill them outside, and they don't transplant good. That's what I've always thought. So me and Beverly took the chance, and we took these out of our beds where our carrots were, and we brought them back here, and God blessed us. Every last one just about that we transplanted that actually sprouted and made it survived here to transplant. So this is a variety on this side. You can see this is a variety in the middle, and this is out of a whole packs of seeds that she bought us. That's all we got left, so we need those to make it. This one here is like one of the lone ones. This is a different variety, and this one over here, these last two right here, are different varieties. So 4 different varieties. Some of them are dwarf, some of them was like an orange or a watermelon, just different varieties. This is why it's good to, I would say, know what trees you got. That's why we've been trying to make sure we get names for all of our trees that we know, because this is a dwarf, this is a grand name. I went to Home Depot one day, just bored out of my mind, and I saw this grand name on sale for $30. And I said, I gotta get it. I looked at it, it was like maximum height, 8 inches, 8 feet. I'm like, I gotta have it for the high tunnel. And it had 3 bananas in it, right? One here, and a small one. The 3. Then I went and I started looking at some of my old videos, my old banana videos. This is a grand name. From my old videos, this is supposed to be a grand name. So I spent $30 on a banana plant I already had. Don't laugh at me, but it looks different, but they say that's a grand name that I have. So here, we've been doing this on the member area, doing some grafting, air layering, trying to air layer this. I believe this air layer is going to be successful because I know that the top is separated from the bottom because it's throwing off new growth right here. Like this is the new top. So I know that at least I've gotten it separated from the main trunk. This one isn't doing that. So this one, maybe I didn't cut far enough into the actual canopy or the cambium layer. I tried this one twice and it's never worked for me. So maybe that's my problem. I'll probably have to try it again because I need to decapitate these just a little bit to bring them down, because it's almost to the top of the high tunnel anyway. So that's why I'm air layering these, and I want them to grow wider than taller. This is looking good, it's promising. I actually, if I can get an air layer here, what I'll do is that'll be one tree. You can see from air layer to air layer. So in that whole middle, all of this is one tree. And that'll be the top of the new tree if this air layer at the bottom works. And then when I cut this air layer, all of the rest of this that's on the top will be the second tree. So 2 air layers, and I'll be able to bring the tree down to this height. That's what I'm trying to do, and continue to let it thicken up. Here's a carry. Oh, the breeze is so beautiful back here. Here's a carry, same thing, looking good, bushing out. You know what? The more you grow, the more you know. I've been trying to air layer over here, and it hasn't been working for me like outside. The reason is because outside, the air layers get moisture and gets rain. Inside, I would have to actually do it myself. Even if the air layers don't take, I'm still gonna have to decapitate these. Guavas work good from cutting. So I've heard and so I've seen on videos, from all the guava videos. But look, I actually cut this one just to see what would happen after a pruning. And I cut this one, and look how beautiful and lush it grows. So what I'm gonna do before January is I'm gonna bring this guava back down to size, kind of to where you see those air layers. Whether they make it or not, I'm gonna bring them down to size, and I'll try to just maybe grow some of those from cutting, stick some of those guavas in the ground. Before I go, I want to show you. Oh, we've been trying to work on just a little bit of irrigation. Let me show you this before I go. And yes, so we're taking out the higher banana plants like this one. You can see how high it is. This is why they're not maintaining, because they burn as soon as they get up to that plastic. So that's why we're going to go more toward the grand names and the little mousses. They're going to be more beneficial to what we're trying to do. Look at those sugar apples. It's a beautiful sugar apple. My gosh. So I seen one of them was dying. So we're going to we may end up with one this year. One of these might make it. This one is looking a little too small. And I'll show you the other one. It's already browned up on us. You can see it's already turning brown. And we're trying to air layer here. These work good from air layers, I've heard. And air layer is still alive, so gonna cut this one off. And I need to lean that tree back over. I've been saying that for like months, right? So this year we're gonna get a good bit of citrus off of these little young trees. They love the high tunnel. If you got a citrus and you're up there in Shreveport, Louisiana, North Louisiana, just gets a tad too cold, you just need a high tunnel. Like, that's all you need. You get a high tunnel, just like that, you're growing. A lot of these trees, what I'm learning, a lot of these trees can handle the cold. I tell y'all this every year, and it's getting to fall, it's getting into winter. I tell y'all this every year. A lot of these trees can handle the cold. They can't handle the frost. It's the frost, it's the ice that touches the leaves. That's what kills a tree. Not the actual cold, not the temperatures in the 20s, in the 30s. Ooh, it's so cold. They can handle that with the right protection. What they can't handle is when the frost gets on their bark, on their leaves, and freeze up and freezes those cells and actually kills those cells. But the cold, they can make it. They may be little babies, but they can handle some cold. I'm gonna have to take this out and get me some suckers off of this. Finally, I mean, this was a huge, I probably should have did more videos, but this was a huge tomato plant. It's still alive. get some suckers, pull that out just for disease purposes, and put some suckers back in there. But it's been amazing. It's been an amazing year. Some cuttings. Look at that. Uh-oh, I got a little leaf footed in them. I don't know if I can get them before you fly off. Got him. Yeah, you're not gonna make it. But look at that. Cuttings. Those are purple passion fruit cuttings. Just take a cutting off, little rooting hormone, stick them in a pot, keep it wet, and they just almost foolproof. I didn't do anything else. Turmeric, ginger, going crazy in there. Couple of weeds as well though. So I'm not gonna act like it's not any weeds in there. Couple of weeds in there, but for the most part, you can see the ginger and turmeric, how huge they get. One of the effects of the high tunnel is that things do lengthen a little bit. And I think that's because on top of my high tunnel, I have the shade cloth. So it causes the plants to lengthen. And I'll show you what I mean. Well, you can see the cassava. Everything tries to reach as high as it can. Look at that. Moringa shows it. It tries to reach as high as it can, but look how linky. I have to cut it to thicken it up. You got to cut them to thicken them, which is good for pruning short-lived things like these bananas that don't really have to get as thick and mature. Good for vines like this passion fruit vine, right? It's good for those things. It is